Hi, welcome to DURGASOFT. Yes, yesterday actually we started this demo, but as I can see some new students today, let me once again introduce about myself. I'm Divya. I have about 9+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science and I'm having experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. So with DURGASOFT currently, I'm dealing with MySQL and Tableau. Okay, so did anyone from this attended yesterday's demo?
Yeah, hi Divya. Good morning. This is Uma. I came today. Yesterday, I was not able to join. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. So I can see many new students here. So let me start everything from first. Actually, yesterday I gave the introduction about databases and SQL, but I wanted to repeat once again. Okay. So here today we are connected to learn MySQL, of course, as you know. And the course duration is of 35 days. That is 35 sessions I'll take. The classes will be taken from Monday to Friday. Okay, weekends I won't take the class. Monday to Friday, the classes will be there. So 35 sessions will be needed to complete this course. Going forward, I'll show you the course content or the topics which we will cover in our entire course. But first, let's try to understand. Let me give the introduction about databases and SQL. Okay, so of course we all know about, maybe you guys already have a little bit idea about what is SQL and what is database, but actually in every batch I'll get some mixed students. I'll get the students, some students who are already working professionals who will have some 5 to 8 years of experience, but who are looking forward to learn advanced concepts of SQL or to brush up their skills on SQL once again. And some students I'll get like who they will be some, I mean, maybe there are some non-IT candidates, non-IT professionals who are looking forward to transit their career into the IT industry. And of course SQL is the must to learn subject whichever domain you choose, right? So keeping every student, everyone in mind, I'll teach everything from scratch. Okay, so before explaining what is database and what is SQL, let me just talk a little bit about the importance of data, right? So we all know we are generating lots and lots of data nowadays, correct? Especially from last few years, the data generation has increased, right? If I remind you, one demonetization take place. Right, when demonetization take place, what happened overnight? We all started using digital payments, right? Previously maybe we used to use some, we used to make some normal cash payments, but from demonetization we all started using digital applications like phone pay, Google Pay, right? Paytm. What happened, what nowadays, what in our smartphone, whatever applications we are using, we are using so many applications, right? We have so many social media applications like Instagram, Facebook, right, Twitter. We will use many OTT platforms, like it can be Netflix, it can be Amazon Prime. We have so many e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart, food delivery apps like Swiggy, Zomato, correct? We are, whatever apps we are using on the daily basis, that is nothing but we are generating data only. Okay, so from the demonetization, once demonetization happened, we started using digital payment applications, right? And especially from the COVID pandemic time, what happened, we are completely depending on the online from that particular time, right? We are watching many OTT platforms, we are doing shopping online, we connected today online to learn something, we are doing work from homes, we are doing many banking transactions in online only, like that. Before pandemic, I can say, before pandemic and after pandemic, there is a huge difference in generation, or generating of the data. Why I'm taking all these examples in the sense, whatever we are doing in online today, whatever applications we are using in smartphone today, that is nothing but we are generating data only. Let me take the example of Amazon. If we buy one product in Amazon, what will happen? In the Amazon end, they need to, they will save our data in the data, right? Suppose they need to save the customer data, like customer name, his address, right? Phone number, mail ID, and maybe product details like product name, price of the product, correct? Maybe supplier details of the product, manufacturer details of the product, correct? Delivery person details of the product, like who is delivering, the person, the delivery person name, the delivery person contact number, maybe the shipping details and all, how many days it is taking to, maybe how many days, in the sense that is, it's not exactly how many days, maybe the order date, delivery date, all this is nothing but data only, right? We all know for Amazon on daily basis, they will, they will sell large number of products, right? So if they need to maintain this much of data, definitely there should be some good systems where they can store this, huge volumes of data, where they can maintain the data properly, right? That's where databases came into existence. Database is something where we can store the data. Okay, collectively we can store the data inside the database. Nowadays, every company are using their own database to maintain or to store their own data. Correct? Why data is important? Because definitely, whatever domain it is, if we are doing business, definitely data will be generated. Correct? And the data we need to store so that we can use the data, we can analyze the data for our for the growth of our company. We can analyze the data, like whether our sales are increasing, whether our sales are decreasing, in which particular area the sales is increasing, what are the reasons behind it, like that. Depending upon the domain, depending upon the business, they will analyze their own data, and according to that analyzations only, they can make the business decisions, right? If they are facing loss, what measures they need to take to gain the profits, like that. Okay, that is again the completely data analysis part. Let me not get into it. But why I'm taking all this example, in the sense, just to realize once again, just to remind once again that importance of data, how much data is being generated. And of course, going forward also, the data will be generated like that only. It will be increased, the generation will be increased. And definitely the databases, we need to use the databases for storing and maintaining the data, right? So previously, what happened, if I talk about some generations of, maybe before computers came into existence, they used to save the data in files manually, correct? Then after some years, computers came into existence and they started storing the data in the form of maybe Excel files or text files, right? But at that time, this much data is not there, right? Once, however, the data generation got increased, databases came into existence, and nowadays we are, storing and maintaining the data inside a database only. Why not Excel? In the sense, obviously, we have some limitations for Excel file. We can't store large volumes of data there. Anyways, in couple of days, we will discuss. We have a concept called as limitations of Excel file. What are all the problems we face if we store the data in Excel file, and how we overcome that limitations by using databases? We will discuss going forward. Okay, so let's concentrate on database now. So we understood what is database. Then what is SQL? I hope you can see my screen properly. Is this visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. So as we all know, the full form of SQL is structured query language, right? Okay, full form is okay. Then what is SQL in essence? Just to make everyone understand clearly, let me explain by taking one simple example here. Okay, so Let's consider this is one school, okay, where I'm talking about any particular section, maybe 10th class A section. Okay, here in this class, what they are doing, they are trying to maintain the data of the students in one register manually. Like maybe in our childhood also, they used to store our attendance details in the registers, right? So I'm just taking the same example. Maybe here also physically they are maintaining the data, like maybe the student ID or roll number, student name, maybe student marks or student attendance, whatever it is. Okay. So what happened one day, the principal of the school, he decided he wanted to analyze the students' performance or the students' attendance. And he called his peon and he said to his peon that go to 10th A section and bring the register so that he can understand the data, so that he can see whatever he wanted to. Right? So the peon understood, he went to the 10th A section, he took the register and he gave back to the principal. So that principal can see whatever he wanted. Whatever data, whatever, if you wanted to analyze attendance, marks, whatever it is, he can see. Okay. But in this scenario, whenever principal wanted to analyze some data, what he did, the data is presented in physical register. So he called the peon and he said to his peon his requirement, go to that particular class and bring the register. So in this process, he definitely, for communicating to the peon, he might use some language, right? It can be English. Principal might use some English language, Hindi language, or Telugu language to communicate with the peon. Then only peon understood that principal wanted register and he did that particular task, right? In the same way, instead of physical registers, let's consider this is a big university, something like our JNP University, where they are having some thousands of students. Instead of maintaining the data physically, they are maintaining data inside database. Of course, in between we have Excel files, but as I said, we have so many limitations in Excel file. I'm not talking about it right now. Okay, let's forget about this Excel file. Instead of storing data in physical notebooks or physical registers, as they have, you know, the students, they have high number of students. The students, definitely the data will be high, and they are storing the data inside database. Okay, so in the same scenario, if the data is being stored in the database, what will happen? Whenever principal wanted to analyze the data which is present inside database, here also, whenever he has any requirement, whenever he wanted to analyze any data to communicate with the database, he need to use a language called as SQL. In the previous example, however, principal might use English language or Hindi language to communicate to the peon, go and get the register. In the same way, if the data is inside the database, if you wanted to analyze any particular data, here to communicate with the database to get that database, to make database understand principal requirement, he should use a language called as SQL. Okay, so SQL is nothing but it is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Clear? Perfect. So that is a definition of SQL. Okay. SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. All right. Then I'm saying that we are learning MySQL. What is MySQL? In the sense, of course, SQL is a language which we will use to communicate with the database. And we have so many databases in the market. We have so many database tools in the market. Like it can be MySQL, it can be Oracle SQL, it can be SQL Server, PostgreSQL. Like that, we have so many tools or so many databases in the market which belongs to their own companies. Like MySQL and Oracle SQL are the company from the, are the products from the Oracle company. SQL Server is a product from the Microsoft company, like that. Okay. So whatever concepts we use here, all the concepts are of SQL only. SQL is a universal declared language, but to use SQL, maybe we are using so many different tools. Okay, just like if we know how to use Android OS, either we can handle some OnePlus phone, either we can handle any another company phone, no problem, right? The usage will be same. It's just about the different company names, right? In the same way, SQL concepts will be same. These are all the different tools, and all the tools, whatever comes, whatever I just mentioned, you know, everything will be same actually. If you are learning MySQL, you can use the same queries, you can use the same concept, same logic in Oracle SQL and SQL Server also. It doesn't mean that if you're learning MySQL and if your company is using SQL Server, it's not the different thing, everything is same. Okay. So the reason why particularly we are using MySQL here in the sense it is an open source platform. That is, it is freely available for everyone. And because of this reason, most of the companies nowadays are preferring to use MySQL. And not only this particular open source reason, MySQL came up with some special security features to maintain the data in a more protective way. I'll show you one setting going forward whenever we are learning about that particular concept. In other databases, we at that particular time I can explain you in a better way. Okay, but with the help of that setting, it is called as safe update mode. With that particular setting, they are protecting the data in a better manner. So because of these reasons, most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL. But as I said, all these tools are again same only. You can use the same syntaxes, same queries in every tool. Basically, we have something called as SQL and NoSQL. I'm just mentioning these points for knowledge purpose. So whatever tools I mentioned just now, all these tools comes under SQL. NoSQL is again completely different. Maybe the mostly used tool under NoSQL is MongoDB. Okay. And with this, whatever we are learning here with MySQL concepts, you can't use MongoDB. That is completely different. Any tools comes under NoSQL, that is completely different from these tools. Okay. So whatever tools comes under SQL, all are almost same. Maybe for some other databases, there can be a little bit differences on any particular topic. Maybe the syntax difference, but everything will be almost 90% same. Okay. Then what is SQL and what is NoSQL in the sense? As most of us already know, what we will do here, we will create a database first. Inside a database, we will create the tables, and inside tables, we will store the data. Okay. So tables we will create. Tables will be created with rows and columns, right? It's a combination of rows and columns, right? So let me take one example here. Suppose if I wanted to store some employees data, okay? My table name will be employees. I'm storing some columns. I'm writing some columns and storing some data here like employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Okay, let me enter some data randomly and quickly. So here employees is our table name. As I said, table is always a collection of rows and column. Vertical thing is called as column. Okay, so here I give 4 columns. Employee ID is 1 column. Employee name is 1 column. Salary is 1 column. Date of joining is 1 column. And horizontal part is called as row. This is, let me change the color. This is first row of data and this is second row of data. Okay, so like that. As it is an Excel file, I wrote it normally here, but in SQL, definitely, in databases, definitely, we will use some commands, we will use some queries to create the table to insert the data. Okay. But here, what is happening? We are storing data. Definitely, we will store data inside tables, right? What is the difference between SQL and NoSQL in the sense? In SQL, always there will be connection between the tables. That is, the tables will be connected to each other. Example, if I'm having 10 tables in SQL database, then definitely there will be a connection between those 10 tables. Okay. But whereas in NoSQL, there won't be any connection between the tables. That is the main difference in between. I mean, we don't create any relationship or any connection between the tables in NoSQL. Whereas in SQL, definitely the relationship, we need to create the relationship between the tables. Okay. So with this point, let me tell you one more point, that is we have something called as RDBMS. Okay, that is Relational Database Management. Relational Database Management System. Okay. What is RDBMS in the sense? SQL always follows RDBMS technique. Okay. If we are creating any database in SQL, then definitely it should follow RDBMS technique. What is RDBMS technique in the sense? If all the tables are connected to each other, that means it is following RDBMS technique. Okay, that is nothing but how many tables are there in this database, SQL databases. Definitely there should be a connection between the tables. The tables should be related to each other. Of course, again, how we will relate all the tables in the sense we have a concept called as foreign key, which we will be going forward in integrity constraint concept. Okay, but just for an idea, I explained about this particular points now. So I hope it is clear whatever we discussed till now. Any doubts, anyone? Perfect. So if everything is clear, let's directly get back to our MySQL workbench. Let me show you the user interface today, and let's start maybe creating our first database and first table. Okay. So once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process. Okay. Once I open my MySQL workbench, you can able to see like this, something called as local instance. You need to click on it. So yeah, this is how it looks like. So just like maybe in all Excel files, here also we have two things. One is menu bar, one is toolbar. We have some options here. Okay. And if you can see here, I already some files are being are opened in my particular system, right? So this files are nothing but editor pages where we can write all the SQL queries. Okay, so to open a new SQL file, either we can click on File menu, New Query tab, second option. Inside File, if I'm clicking New Query tab, I can able to open a new SQL file where I can write all the SQL queries. Or else, even we have a shortcut that is first symbol in the toolbar. Okay, that is a shortcut. If you click on this first symbol on the toolbar, you can see again one more file is opened for me. Anything is fine. Either you can click the first icon on the toolbar, or else inside File, New Query tab. Okay. So once the file got opened, inside also you can see we have some options here, right? This is nothing but after writing anything, if you wanted to save this file in your system, you can click on the second icon, that is Save button. Right? It will help us to save this file in our systems. And if you wanted to open any already saved files, you need to click on this first icon, folder icon. Okay. If you are clicking on this folder icon, you can able to, open any of this files, whatever you want. Okay, like this. Okay. So to save this option, to open already saved file, this symbol, first symbol, folder symbol. And to see the output, once writing every query, we will definitely execute the query to see the output, right? So this is the execute button, third icon is the execute button. Okay, and at the bottom, this is the output section. This is the output section where you will see the output. Towards the left side, you can see something called as schemas, and below schemas, you can see so many names here. This is nothing but the list of databases available in my system. Once you create any database, that name you can able to see here. Okay, in my system, I have this many databases. That is the database names, the list of database names I can see here. Okay, But by default, once we install the software, we can able to see only one database, that is sys database. Okay. After that, whenever whatever database you will create, that database you can able to see here. Okay. And below this is information section. Okay. This one at the bottom, this is information section. So this is nothing but if you select anything from here, suppose I already selected sys here, it is just showing me the database name is sys. Okay. Suppose I'm selecting SQL9. I'm trying to, we can expand this database. We have a small triangle icon here. If I'm expanding, in every database, basically we'll have a 4 sections. Okay. That is tables, views, stored procedures, and functions. Okay. So let me show you this particular SQL7 database. Inside, I'm having some tables. I can expand tables by clicking on this triangle. I have one table that is employees table. If I'm selecting employees table here, the information regarding employees table I can see in information section. That is the table name is employees. I'm having some 4 columns here. For each column, definitely we will create some data types. That data type information also you can able to see here in the information section. Okay, suppose whenever definitely we will deal with some huge, large volumes of data in real time. If you wanted to check what data type is there, what columns are there in any particular tables, you can just, navigate from here. You can select here and you can check the details from the information section. Okay. So yeah, this is about the user interface. Now let's create our first database. Before that, let me mention some points here. So as we already discussed, what is SQL in the sense? SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database, right? And here in MySQL is case insensitive. That means you can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. Anything is fine. It is case insensitive. You can use anything, that is okay. Everything is same. And we have something called as comments here. Like any other programming language, we will have here also we have comments. We have 2 types of comments, that is single line comment, and maybe I'll write it. Single line comment and multi-line comment. What is this comment in the sense? If you don't want to execute anything, okay, then you can keep it inside comments. That is whatever we kept inside comments, that is non-executable. If you observe here, I'm writing few points. Before every point, I'm using a symbol, hyphen, right? This is nothing but a comment. Because I'm just writing these points as a theory notes, I don't want this to execute. This is not my SQL query. I'm not going to execute it. So to make this understand to SQL, we will just keep it inside comments. Whatever we kept it inside the comments, that is non-executable. Okay. So as I said, we have 2 types, single line comment and multiple line comments. In single line, if we wanted to keep it inside comments, we will use this symbol. You can see for each and every line, this is a one definition, but still for this line, I used a comment. Before this line also, I used a comment because this is a single line comment. Okay. So the symbols to indicate single line comment is either this symbol, 2 hyphens, or however I used, or else 1 hash. Okay. Even we can use hash also, that is also a single line comment. Okay. Anything is fine. Either you can use this symbol or that symbol. But that is up to only 1 line only. Before each line, we need to use this. That is considered single line. What is multi-line in the sense? Multiple lines, if you wanted to keep inside comments, the symbol for that is hash and star. And then you can write whatever you want, close, star and hash. Okay, so this is the start of the comment. This is the end of the comment. In between, how many lines you want, that many lines you can write. This is same as in Python and Java also we'll use the same symbols, right? If you, so this is single line comment, this is multi-line comment. Usually in my classes, I don't believe in giving some PDF notes. I'll upload this SQL files only for you where you can find all the theory part as well as the queries. Suppose, for example, this is one file. Up you can see I'm providing theory parts here itself. Along with that, you can find examples here itself. Okay, so that whenever you open any particular file, you can revise the concepts as well as the examples as well as the syntaxes in one particular page. Okay, so usually theory notes, before writing theory notes, I'll use the comments in my file. Right. So we have something called as syntax. Okay. So syntax is nothing but for doing each and every task here, we will have some syntaxes. We need to follow those syntax. Syntax in the sense, maybe you can consider them as a formula, okay, or a rule, okay. So for every task, even for creating tables, for inserting data, updating data, deleting data, whatever we do here, we will have that particular syntaxes. We need to use those syntaxes to complete the task, to do the task, okay. So likewise, create this database also, we have a syntax. Let's create our first database. Before that, yesterday I created this SQL line. Let me just remove it. Let me recreate it once again with the same name. Okay. So to create the database also, we'll have a syntax. And what is a syntax in the sense? Create database, database name. This is the syntax for creating database. Okay. So let's create database. Database name is, I'm giving it as SQL 9, as this is 9 a.m. batch. Okay. Again, every time we need to give the unique databases names. We can't give already available database names. Suppose I'm already having SQL file. If I'm trying to give SQL file, we will get an error. Let's check first that. Okay. So the syntax will be create database name. I'm selecting this. I'm executing by clicking on the execute button here. You can say I got the error stating can't create database, SQL file database exists. Like that. If you can see green color tick mark, that means it is successfully executed. If you have any errors, it will show us red color cross mark like this, along with the error message detailing, so that by reading the error message, we can understand what is the mistake here. It is saying very clearly SQL file databases already exist, so I cannot create once again. Right? So let me give a database name as SQL9. I'm creating it once again. Now you can see it got created, right? So to see this database name in this list, we need to refresh here. Beside schemas, you can see we have a refresh button here. Once, if I refresh this, I can able to see the newly created database name in this list, right? If I'm expanding, as I said, we will have always 4 sections here. Tables, views, topacities, and functions. Every thing we will learn going forward detailedly. We will have views concept separately, procedures concept separately, of course. For now, let's concentrate on tables. Okay. So this is how we will create a database. After creating the database, next step is we need to activate the database. What is activating database in the sense? You can see here I'm having so many databases in my system. Okay, in this batch, I know I'm going to use SQL9 database. I know that, but how to make SQL understand that we wanted to use particularly SQL9 database, right? So definitely to make SQL understand which particular database we wanted to use, we need to activate that particular database by using the syntax use database name. This is the syntax for activating the database. Okay, I need to say use SQL9. Okay, without activating the database, if I executed any query, if I created any table, inserted any data, if I execute any particular query, without activating the database, if none of the databases is an activation, if I execute any query, it will throw me an error stating none of the databases is activated. Okay, that is fine. By seeing the error message, we can remember and we can activate the database. Okay, so now I'm activating SQL9 database. You can see I'm selecting, I executed. You can see the difference. This particular database got highlighted now. It went into dark bold color, right? Dark black color, bold color. So currently this database, this is an indication that this particular database is activated currently, and going forward, whatever queries I'll execute, all the queries will be executed under this SQL9 database only. Okay, as I said, if none of the databases is activated, that is fine. Okay, if we execute any query, it will just throw us error stating none of the database is activated. But suppose here currently SQL9 database is activated. I wanted to use this database only for this batch. Okay, suppose Example, at 10 o'clock, I have another batch. Imagine next I'm having another batch, and in that batch, I wanted to use maybe SQL 6 database. Okay, and I forgot to activate SQL 6 database, and I just logged in that particular batch. For that particular batch, I started executing some particular query. What will happen? That query will be executed under SQL 9 only, because this is already activated. It won't throw any error, right? If none of the database is activated, then only it will throw the error. If one database is activated, and if I wanted to use another database, definitely I need to activate that particular database. If I forget activating that database, the queries whatever we will execute will be executed under this database. So we need to be careful. Every time before using any database, we need to check, is that the particular database which we wanted to use, and we need to activate the correct database. Okay. Of course, this problem mostly we will find in learning process only, because in real time, definitely we will connect to our client's database. We won't face much issues there. Okay. So this is how we will activate the database.
Yeah, Divya, like how to identify the which DB is currently active?
See, like this, it is selected as in a dark bold color, light.
Okay,
These are all in light color. This is highlighted.
okay. If you select any other database, it is inactive, is it?
Yes, if I'm just selecting like this, it is just, it is not highlighting like this. The color you
Okay,
can see, correct?
yeah.
Yeah, like that. And yes, we created our first database. We activated our database. Next step is to create a table, right? So first of all, we have sub-languages in SQL. Okay, we have so many commands in SQL. All the commands are divided into 5 types of sub-languages. Okay, so like this, we have 5 sub-languages like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. Under each sub-language, we have so many commands, which we will learn in tomorrow's class. Okay, tomorrow we'll start this concept called as sub-language. Each and every command is important here. On daily basis, we will use all these commands. So from that, to create the table, we will use create command. Okay, so create is a command which is used to create any database object. Okay. That is database object in the sense it can be tables. Okay, it can be views. It can be stored procedure. This are all called as objects only, database objects only. So to create the table also we will use create command. To create view also we will use create command. And to create a stored procedure also we will use create command. Okay. But the syntax for creating table we will see now. Syntax for creating views and procedures we will see in that particular class. Okay. So let's see a syntax for creating the table. Definitely we will use create command. The syntax will be like create table. We need to give table name, and we need to use brackets. Technically, we'll call them as parentheses. Within the parentheses, we need to mention column name. If you see in Excel file, employees is my table name. I give 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Like that, how many columns we want, that many column names we can give inside the bracket. So column name 1, comma, column 2, comma, like that, how many we want, that many we can give. But the thing is, for each and every column name here, we need to define its particular data type. Okay, data type for column 1, data type for column 2, like that, we need to define data types for all the columns. And then we need to close the bracket. Okay, see, create table, table name. Within the brackets, we can mention how many columns we want. But for every column name, we need to mention the data type. Okay, before creating a table, first let's try to understand what is data type. Okay, suppose let's create our first table, that is employees, which we already wrote in Excel file by giving the column names as employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. 4 columns I want. But as I said, for every column name, we need to define the data type also, right? So instead of giving directly particular data type names, let's discuss first what is data type. Okay. So data type is nothing but data type. It allows, data type will only allows or else I can say data type will only decides what kind of value we can enter in any table. Okay, we can enter in any table, any column I can say. Okay, data type will only decide what kind of values I can enter in any column. That is, let me make it simple. This is an Excel file, right? So we have salary column here. Okay, for employee ID 2, instead of 65,000, if I'm just trying to type some hello, okay, it is accepted, right? Here, this is one of the biggest limitation, one of the biggest disadvantage of Excel file is that whatever data we give, it will just accept. It won't throw any error. It is not stopping me to enter some random data here. It is just, it is not saying me this is salary column. You need to enter numbers, but you are entering some textual data. It is not saying me like that, right? If I'm giving hello, it is accepting. Instead of dates, if I'm giving any random data, it is accepting. It is not saying that this is DOG column, you need to enter dates only. Correct? Basically, this is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file. If we are entering knowingly or unknowingly, if we are entering any wrong data or irrelevant data, it won't stop us. It won't throw us any error. It will just accept whatever we give. Okay, this is one of the problem or one of the limitation of Excel file. And this limitation we overcome in SQL by using the concept called as data types. Okay. Definitely, we are humans. Human errors will take place if we are entering any wrong data. If and if they didn't stop us, if we didn't get any alert or error that we are wrong, then definitely it will become mess, right? So, as we are storing this much of data, we need such systems where if we are entering some wrong data, it should at least alert us. It should throw us error that we are wrong. Then only we can rectify the mistake. Correct? So in databases, data types will do this thing. So we have types of data types. Okay, we have two types of data types. First one is numeric data type. Okay. Second one is character data type. Sorry.
Yes, character in the sense varchar.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We will take it as varchar, right?
Correct. We will take it as varchar. Okay. And next, date time data type. Mostly we use this three data types in real time. Okay. Along with that, we have fourth one, that is Boolean data type, but mostly we use first three. Numeric data type is nothing but whenever we are storing some numbers, we will use this numeric data type. Character data type, also called as string data type, both are same. This is nothing but if we wanted to store textual data, then we will use this character or string data type. Okay, next date time data type.
Characters.
Correct. Correct. And date time data type, if we wanted to store dates and times, then we will use this date time data type. Boolean data type in the sense we will accept only true and false. Okay. So again, let me explain elaborately about numeric data types. In numeric data types, again, we have two types. Okay. So one is int and the second one is float. Actually, two data types belongs to numeric data type. Whenever we wanted to store some numbers, even we can use int data type or else float data type. Int actually accept only numbers, whereas float accepts numbers and decimal values. Okay. Sometimes we will enter decimal values also, right? Suppose let's take an example of salary column only. We can expect decimal values there like 1.2 lakh, 3.8, 1.8 lakhs like that. Decimal values we can expect. Whenever we may think that we can expect some decimal values on any column, we will use float data type on that particular column. If it is only numbers, we will use int data type. Next, we have character or string data type. Here we have two types. One is char and the second one is varchar. Okay, what is char? What is varchar? What is the difference between them? I'll explain you maybe in the next class by taking one example detailing. Okay, but one point let me mention here that whenever we are defining character data, we define size also. Okay, but I'll explain this particular point clearly going forward. Okay. Next, we have date time data type. Here also we have two data types. That is, first one is date data type and the second one is date time data type. Okay, if you wanted to store only dates, then we need to use date data type and we need to use the format that is year, month, date. Only this format is acceptable. Okay, definitely. If you use another format, like if you write first date, then month, then year, it won't accept, it will throw the error because only this format we need to use. Along with the date, if you wanted to store time, then we need to use date time data type and the format will be year, month, date, hour, minute, second. Okay, this format is acceptable. Only this format is acceptable. Okay, like that. It's only dates, we will use this thing. Along with date, if you wanted to store time, then date time data type. Okay, Boolean, as I said, true and false values will be accepted. Okay, this is some basic idea about the data types. Right? Now, let's get back to our table and let's create our table as we understood the data types. Okay, I'm just copying this here. I'm going to create our first table, that is employees table. Employee ID is my first column name. In this, I wanted to enter numbers only, so I can give int as a data type, right? Employee name, now I'm giving char as a data type, but I'll explain the difference between char and var. But if you remember, I said one point that while defining character data type, we will define size also. What is that in the sense? If we are using char or varchar, after defining it, we need to define the size within the brackets. I'm giving the size as 10 here. What is the size in the sense? For this particular employee name, I'm allocating 10 bytes of memory here. Size is nothing but memory. Here I'm trying to give 10 bytes of memory for particular employee name column. And each byte will occupy each character. Okay. That means we are allowed to enter up to 10 characters only in employee name. You can enter 4-letter word, 5-letter word, up to 10, it is okay. If you're trying to enter an 11-letter word or 12-letter word, it won't accept because we are allocating only 10 bytes of memory for this particular column name. Okay. So each byte, as I said, in each byte, each character we can enter. So we are allocating up to 10 bytes only for this particular column name. Okay. Then what is char and varchar? I'll explain you going forward or maybe tomorrow. Okay. I hope it is clear to some extent. Next, we have salary column. Here, I'm giving float as a data type because I may get some decimal values as well. Okay. And for date of joining, I'm giving date as a data type. Right. Definitely dates we will enter, right? So like this. Whenever we are creating table, we need to define columns. For each and every column name, we need to define the data types. Okay. And definitely, as we are entering the data, we will have an idea that what kind of data we will enter. Maybe it will be in numbers, in characters, maybe it is dates, right? So definitely we will have an idea and accordingly we need to define the data types. Okay, this is how we will create our first table. Let me create it. I'm just selecting, I'm executing. You can create it, got created successfully. Now let me refresh here by clicking on this refresh icon. You can see now I can able to expand tables, right? If I'm clicking on this expand button, you can see we got our first table, that is employees table. And if I'm selecting employees from here, you can able to see the information in the information section. We created 4 column names and we gave the data types for that particular column names, right? This is how we will create the table. But with this, what we did actually by using create command, only table structure got created. That is table name and column name. To enter the data inside that particular column, we will use insert command. Okay, here for now we didn't inserted the data. We only created the table structure. Correct. Next, we need to enter the data by using insert command. But maybe I'll explain this in the tomorrow's class because I wanted to show you the course content or the topics which we will cover in this batch. Okay, but I hope whatever we discussed till now, we understood about what is database, what is SQL, we understood some important points on SQL, right? And then we created our first database, we activated the database, created our first table. We understood about data types concept. Clear up to here? Any doubts, anyone?
Clear, Durga.
Perfect. So now let me show you the course content or the topics which we will cover in our course. First, introduction to database and SQL, which we are done today. Limitations of Excel file in couple of days we will cover. Creation of database and tables, almost we are done today. MySQL installation, I'll show you once we are done with demo classes. Data types in SQL also done. Next, we have, of course, I need to explain a difference between char and varchar, which I'll do that tomorrow by taking one example. Next important topic, we have sub-languages, right? We have 5 types of sub-language, and under each sub-language, we have so many commands in it. Okay, so we will discuss each and every command detailedly by creating some, tables and with some examples practically. And then we have integrity constraints concept. Okay, we will define some constraints on the column level. So to maintain some integrity. And we have many constraints like not null constraint, unique constraint, primary key, foreign key, check constraint, default constraint. Every constraint we will learn very practically by creating that constraint, practically actually. Okay, we'll create all the constraints and we will try to understand what is the need of that constraint and when we will use that constraint. Okay, and up to here I can say this is the some very basics of SQL. So because of that reason, I'll use some basic tables, normal tables, like as I used employees table today, maybe some orders table, students table, course tables, like that. Some basic tables I will use, manager table, and I'll explain up to this particular concept. Once we are done with this integrity constraints, the specialty of my course is that we will use some real-time database in our course. So that is nothing but movies database. This is one of the real-time database. So I'll explain that database for you, and then I'll show you how to restore that database into your systems. Okay, once I show you the restoration process, then we will start our actual main topics. Okay. And going forward from this topic, we'll use this database only for learning this concept, so that definitely once we started working in any company, we will deal with real-time databases where they will, where we will have some large volumes of data, right? In learning process only, instead of learning all the concepts by using small tables, if we use this real-time databases, then I can say we will get some hands-on experience on dealing with the databases, right? So that is the reason for using a real-time database here. It's a movies database. It is a kind of OTT platform database. We will use that database only to learn all the concepts. And the next concept is operators and clauses. Okay, again important concept. We have some clauses in SQL like where clause, order by clause, distinct clause, limit clause, group by clause, having clause. All the clauses we will learn very practically by solving the examples on this movies database. And we have some operators like and operator, or operator, not operator, in operator, between operator, and especially like operator. All the operators we will use inside where clause only. That is the reason we will learn this both clauses and operators together. Okay, and like operator is very important. Whatever domain or whatever job role you work, if you are using SQL, definitely you will use like operator, because by using like operator, basically we can find patterns in the data. Based on specific patterns, if we wanted to search for the data, then we will use like operator. We have 2 wildcards. That means in 2 different ways we can search for the data patterns by using like operator, which we will solve so many examples how to find the patterns by using this movies database again. Okay, next we have functions. We have some inbuilt functions in SQL like numeric functions, character functions, date functions, and aggregate functions. In each step, again, we have so many functions. We will learn everything practically. Next, joins, most important concept. Okay, I believe joins is a complete backbone for the complete, joins is a backbone for complete IT industry. We will definitely use joins a lot in real time. And we have so many types of joins like inner join, left join, right join, self join, cross join, and natural join. Okay, as joins is very important in every domain. Only for this concept, what I'll do, we will discuss so many examples in the class. And not only discussing that particular examples in the class, I'll give some assignment questions also, something like some practice questions for you. Again, it's up to you. If you are interested, if you wanted to solve those questions, you can solve them so that you can check by yourselves whether you can able to solve joins or not. Okay, I'll give some time. I'll give some 1 week of time. Whenever you're ready, I'll discuss those solutions once again in the class so that you can recheck whether you are right or wrong. Okay, it's up to you. If you are interested, you can follow this. But this process only I'll use for joins concept because this is important. Okay. And everyone in every institute, everyone will actually explain all the types of joins with examples only. But here I particularly focus on not only learning about the joins, we need to understand in which scenario we need to use which type of join. That is very important. Like, of course, joins when we will use in the sense whenever we wanted to fetch the data from multiple tables, we will use joins. That is okay. But when to use inner join, when to use left join, when to use right join, that is also we need to know, which I'll explain very detailed. Okay. And next we have regular expressions concept, one of the again important concept, just like operator. Okay. By using like operator in two ways only we can find for the data patterns, but in regular expression, this is also used for searching the data patterns. I mean, we can fetch the data based on any specific patterns by using regular expression. Here we have so many anchors, that is in so many different ways we can search for the pattern. So these two are almost same, but in a more better way, with more better options, we can search for the data by using regular expressions. Okay. Next, we have group by clause and having clause, which I already mentioned in clauses and operators topic. But the reason why we will discuss this concepts here in the sense to frame some good examples, we can use joins concept. That is the reason after joins, we are learning group by and having, so that we can frame some good questions, by using joins as well as group by clause as well as having clause. Okay, and using aggregate function inside group by. Important. Next, we have subqueries. Subqueries is nothing but if you are if you are using one query inside another query, that is nothing but a subquery. Okay, we have so many types of subqueries like correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery, single row subquery, multi-row subquery. Everything we will discuss detailedly by solving the examples. Every concept actually we will solve the examples only and we will learn practically. Okay, and the next thing is normalization, denormalization, normal form. Okay, interesting topic. Most of the institutes, they will explain, if they are mentioning this topic, they will explain it only in theory part. But here I'll show you practically everything by taking sales data. Okay, actually being SQL developers or any another normal developers, we don't use this concept much. But if you are particularly working as a data engineer, data engineers are the one who will use this particular concept. That is nothing but, see, from the clients we will get usually raw data, right? So the data engineers are the persons who will convert that raw data into a perfect database. We SQL developers or any other developers we will start working in already ready-made database. Okay, I'll explain you everything detailedly going forward. But data engineers, what they will do, definitely we will use on the ready-made database, but there should be someone to create the database, right? So those are the persons who will create the database. And the raw data, generally whatever data we'll get from the clients, that will be the raw data, and that data is said to be in the form of denormalization. Okay, and once data engineers, what they will do, they will clean the data, they will convert the data into a perfect database. The perfect database is said to be in the normalization. That is nothing but they will convert denormalized data into normalization by using normal forms concept. Okay, so what are all the rules we have in each normal form? How we will convert denormalization into normalization, normalized data. We will see practically. I'll take some sales data and I'll show you practically how they will convert. Okay, next we have ER diagrams concept, views concept. From views, all the concepts are small concepts only, but very important concepts. Why we will use this concept, what is the use cases, everything we will discuss detailedly. Okay, views concept. Next, index concept. Index is used for query optimization. That is, to display our output faster, to get the data faster, we will use indexes. We have many types of indexes like cluster index, non-cluster index, everything we will discuss detailedly. Next, temporary tables. Most interesting and useful concept. if you wanted to remove some duplicate data at a time, okay, from the tables at a time, if you wanted to remove the duplicate data, we can use this temporary tables concept. And how many rows are there also duplicate, we can remove all that rows at a time by using this concept, which I'll show you practically. Next, CT, one more advanced concept. CT is called as common table expression. Okay, so by using CT also we can do many tasks, which we will learn going forward. Next, procedures, stored procedures. On daily basis, whenever we do daily tasks, always we will use procedures concept. Okay, we have a static way of static procedures, we have dynamic procedures, we have some parameters like in and out, everything we'll discuss detailing. On daily basis, in real time, we will use procedures concept a lot, which helps us to finish our work faster. Actually, by using procedures, we can do all the tasks, all our daily tasks very fastly. So we will discuss everything detailing. And then one more advanced concept is Windows functions. We have 5 types of Windows function like rank, dense rank, row number, lead, and lag. Okay, nowadays in every interview we can expect at least 1 or 2 questions from window functions as well. That is the reason I included this concept also in our course. We will discuss everything detailed. Okay, that's it. These are the topics which we will cover, and at the end I'll discuss some important interview questions as well. Okay. And as I said, 35 sessions will take from Monday to Friday. The course fees is only 3,000. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. And if you are interested, our admin team already kept the registration details. And of course, as you already attended the session, you will get a mail from our admin team where you will find the registration details. And along with that, they will provide you today's live session video if you want, and even this course content link also. Okay, go through that. If you are interested, you can get registered with us, or else tomorrow is also a demo class. Please follow the same Zoom link and connect in the tomorrow's class. We can continue from the data types. That is, we will insert the data, and then once we are done with the basics, tomorrow we will start sub languages concept. Okay. Any doubts, anyone?
Yeah, Divya, this is Uma here.
Yes, please.
Like, do we have any minimum strength to be attended? Like we see, like 5 to 6 people now. So after demo, like maybe 2 or 3, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, do you have any minimum strength criteria?
In evening classes, usually we'll get 6 to 8 students. In morning sessions, at least 4 to 5 students. But we will get it. No problem.
Okay.
It's not that definitely if I get only 1 or 2 students, we won't continue. It won't be like that. Usually we will get minimum 4 students in the morning batches and minimum 7 to 8 students in the evening batches.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. And one more thing, like, see, I'm working for HCL Tech. Okay, so I'm working for some tool, which is an admin tool, and now we have been asked to adapt some SQL for the ongoing DB to start handling the DB. Okay. So going forward, we might be asked to upgrade the DB. Say example, our tool is now supporting MySQL 8. Okay, the other tool of the version is supporting like 5.8. Okay, now they're asking me to start handling the DB and upgrade from 5.8 to 8 version of DB MySQL. So does this kind of activities you support or you guide on this, something like during the live sessions? How we can
Not actually. Upgrading parts are completely belongs to database admin part. Here we are just discussing about the database developers part.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, going forward, we have been asked to handle this DB. Like we may be like DB admins and as well as the DB developers. Yeah, you can take it as yeah.
Right.
So DB admin is again a different
thing. Yeah, completely. It's a admin. DBAs are completely different. Database administration, the concepts will be different. And this SQL is completely belong. This particular thing, whatever we're discussing here, that belongs to completely developers part.
So do we have any such course like which includes DBA also?
No, I mean, no one will explain both at a time. If you wanted to learn admin thing, you can search for it separately. I mean, within DURGASOFT also, we have some courses which, on DBAs. But I don't think both will be, taught together. That will be separate course and this will be a separate course.
Okay, okay, fine. I got it. Thanks a lot for the yeah.
Yeah, fine. Any other questions, anyone? All right, if everything is clear, as I said, tomorrow is also a demo class. Please follow the same Zoom link and attend tomorrow. Let's continue with the today's concept tomorrow. Okay, and if you like the, if you really like this way of my explanation and the content, you can get registered or else check tomorrow's demo and then decide. Okay, anything is fine. Let's connect in tomorrow's class. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Divya. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Thanks.